Hello once again everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if this is your first time joining me here today. Hi, my name is Hannah. I make a lot of different videos here on YouTube, sometimes story times, jewelry related, makeup related, baby related. There's a lot of different topics that we cover here. I like to believe that I have a little bit of something for everybody. So with that being said, if you are new to the channel, I highly recommend you check out some of the playlists that I have here, because like I said, I like to believe I have a little something for everybody. So without further ado, let's jump right into this story time. So this story time might seem just a teensy bit random, and maybe it is, but I kind of thought about this story, or I guess this might be like a series of stories. This might even be included in the series of stories about the old house that we lived in. If you've been watching the channel for a little while, you'll probably remember videos at mine and Dustin's old house. I call it, or we call it, the Auburn house, because the street that it was on is called Auburn, and so we refer to this house as the Auburn house. But anyway, when I first met Dustin, he had just recently bought the Auburn house, and he was living there with a couple of roommates. Let's just call them Brian and Steve. Let's call them Brian and Steve. That seems fine, because that's not either of their names. So anyways, Brian was very nice, super just lovely, a nice dude. I very much still like him. He moved away. He's in the army now, or some branch of the military, so like, good job. He's doing well. He's doing great. But the other guy, Steve, me and Steve did not get along. And I know what you're thinking. Hannah, aren't all of your stories about you not getting along with someone? Well, frequently. But that is because those are the only interesting stories, right? I mean, how exciting is it to listen to a story where everybody gets along and there's no conflict? Am I right, fellas? If we didn't like conflict, we wouldn't have television shows or movies. So, or books, really, because you kind of have to have conflict in a book. But anyway, I digress, as I frequently do. Anyway, this story is about several of the times that me and Steve butted heads, and when it kind of just like, what would you call it? It came to a breaking point, okay? It came to a breaking point eventually. So that is what this story is about, and I thought about it recently because of selling the Auburn house. That's what spurred these memories, is like I was thinking about, you know, memories of the Auburn house. That's why this story came to mind. So without further ado, further long-winded intro, let's get into this story about how me and Steve just did not get along. So like I said, when I first met Dustin, he was living at the Auburn house with Brian and Steve. And let me just kind of like give you guys an idea of how this house is laid out, okay? Because otherwise you're not gonna be able to fully understand. So when you walk into the house, it has a garage, not a garage, it has a carport door and a front door. And we never really used the front door. We always used the carport door, because as soon as you get out the car, you just walk in that side door. And whenever we would have visitors or anything, they would always come in that door anyway. So the carport door goes straight into the kitchen, and the kitchen's like kind of a longer open kitchen. So when you first walk in, you're in the kitchen. It's pretty long, and at the end of the kitchen there's a hallway, and it's like, when you walk in, you're like this, and the hallway at the end is like this. Or maybe I should do it this way so you can actually see. When you walk in, this hallway is at the end of the kitchen. And down that hallway, there was 2 bedrooms on one side, a bathroom on the other side, and at the very end, there is another bedroom. So there's 3 bedrooms in this hall, and then 1 bathroom on the hallway, okay? So you've got that hallway that intersects with the kitchen, and then connected to both the kitchen and the hallway is the living room, right? So you could walk like from the living room into the kitchen or from the living room into that long hallway. It kind of makes a big circle around. And then it had like a back patio, and there was a mother-in-law house in the back. And if you don't know what that is, it's just like a little tiny house. It has an area for you to sleep. It has like a little kitchenette type thing, and it had its own toilet. I don't think there was a shower out there, but there was a toilet. I know that for sure. But anyway, so there was a mother-in-law house outside, and when I first met Dustin, Brian had the bedroom on one end of the hall. Dustin had the master bedroom with the ensuite bathroom and the really big closet, and then Steve had the bedroom that's like right beside the master. So the way that the hallway works in the main actual house is, you know, you have the one bedroom way down at this end of the hall, the master bedroom down at the other end, and on the very, very end, like the back wall, there was Steve's room. So Steve's room and the master shared a small portion of one of the walls. I'm sorry that this is really hard to explain, but the basic gist that you need to understand is that Steve's room and Dustin's room, the master bedroom, shared a wall. So it was, and it's an old house, like a really old house. So you can hear through the wall. Like if somebody's watching TV really loud, then you can hear it in the other room, right? Okay, that makes sense. So that's the basic layout of this house. So here's the deal. This is just one example of many, and I'm sure I'll give several in this episode. I don't know if this will be like an episodic series or anything, but basically, when I first met Dustin, he was still working at Raising Cane's, the fast food place, and Dustin, Steve, and Brian all worked at Raising Cane's. If you don't know what Raising Cane's is, look it up. I don't know if it's all across the country, but anyway, it started in Louisiana. So anyway, they all three worked there, and that's how they all knew each other and got along as friends and whatever. So anyways, Dustin would frequently work like different shifts than Steve or Brian, just because they wouldn't all work the same shifts. They would pick up different shifts, all that kind of stuff. So frequently it would be like Dustin would work a morning shift, and maybe Brian and Steve would work in the afternoon, or vice versa, or something like that. So I was there pretty much all the time. And when Dustin was at work, I would just hang out in the master bedroom, because I just felt weird being in the living room and the like shared areas with Brian and Steve. Like, no shade or anything, it was just weird because we weren't friends like that. Like, I liked them as people, but I just don't hang out with them like that, you know? So I would just hang out in the master bedroom. Well, at that point in time, I was still, you know, I was in college and I was going to in-person classes and all that. So one particular day, Dustin was at work. He had left that morning, so I was there, and Steve was in his room. I guess he was asleep. I think he was asleep. But anyway, I didn't get up because I think I had class around 11 or 12-ish, something like that. And so I didn't get up super early. I got up around 10 or 10:30 and started getting ready. So I was getting ready in the ensuite bathroom in Dustin's room. Like, we're the only ones that ever used it. It was me and him. So I was getting ready in there, and we had a Bluetooth speaker in there, and I would usually like play music while I was in the shower. So I started playing music that day, and I was, you know, just doing my thing. It wasn't super, super loud, and I didn't at all think about Steve being able to hear it, because the ensuite bathroom was closer to the living room than it was to Steve's room. You know what I mean? Like, as far as the layout went, because the ensuite and the closet were kind of further down. Like the master bedroom was a long bedroom, so it was closer to the end that would be closer to the kitchen and living room, and not so much Steve's room. So I literally did not think about it. I didn't even know he was asleep because it was relatively late in the morning. Now, I'm not saying that people don't sleep until 1 or 2 in the afternoon. I'm guilty of that for sure, especially lately. But at that time, you know, I had classes every day, and they were not pretty early, but they were earlier in the day. Like I wasn't sleeping until 1 or 2 o'clock. So anyway, I was getting ready, I was doing my thing, listening to music. And as I'm getting ready, I ended up turning the music off because I thought that I heard somebody like outside the bedroom door. Like I thought Steve was trying to tell me something. But I didn't hear him, or I thought I heard him, but then I didn't hear him. And I went out there to look, and I didn't see him, and his door was still shut. So I was like, whatever, I guess it's cool. And so anyway, I go about my business. I left the music off because I was almost done getting ready, and I ended up blow drying my hair because I blow dry my hair. I didn't have time to let it air dry or anything. And if I don't blow dry it, my hair won't straighten right. It'll be a curly, frizzy mess. So anyway, I blow dried it. I blow dry my hair every time I get ready. So anyway, I'm blow drying my hair, and in the middle of it, I hear the loudest door slam ever. Like ever. Super loud. And I'm like, what is that about? So anyway, I just kind of brushed it off, went about my business, and then later when I came home from school, Dustin was home, and he was in the living room talking to Steve and Brian, and so I didn't think anything about it. I just went in the bedroom. And anyway, when he came in there later, he was like, I'm so mad. And I'm like, what? Why are you mad? And he's like, because Steve pitched this whole fit because your blow drying your hair woke him up, and I told him that that shouldn't wake him up because it's not even that loud. And he said, you know, was she listening to music? And Steve said no, like she wasn't listening to music, she was blow drying her hair. And I'm like, I was listening to music, and then I blow dried my hair when I got out of the shower. Like, if anything would have woke him up, wouldn't it have been the music? I don't know. But anyway, Dustin was mad because Steve was pitching this whole fit about it, and he was like, she's gonna blow dry her hair. Like, I'm not just gonna tell her she can't blow dry her hair. That's a normal thing that people do at 10:30 or 11 o'clock in the morning. Like, it's not like she was up at 6 a.m. blow drying her hair. Are you stupid? So anyway, the funny part about this is that Steve never once approached me and said, you know, like, hey, this that you do bothers me, or I don't like that you do this, or blah, blah, blah. No. He never approached me. He never said anything to me. He always went to Dustin about it, and that really got under my skin because it's like, you can just talk to me about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that, I don't understand. To me, it's kind of cowardly that you won't come and talk to me about it, that you have to go and talk to Dustin about it. Even if we don't know each other that well, you can still come to me about something that you don't like or that bothers you or whatever. You know what I mean? Anyways, so Dustin was mad about it, and so they got in this huge fight, and basically he told Steve that if he didn't like it, that he could move out or he could go to a different bedroom because he chose the bedroom that he was in. Like, he could swap bedrooms with Brian, or he could go and sleep in the mother-in-law house and move his bed and stuff out there because, you know, it was fully insulated, there was electricity and stuff. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna move out in the mother-in-law house. So he ended up moving from that end bedroom to the mother-in-law house out in the backyard, and he moved all of his stuff, and Dustin bought him a heater for the winter time and a fan for the summertime when it was hot or when it was cold, you know. And so he was good to go. So after that happened, Brian stayed in his bedroom that he was in, and, you know, Dustin was in that master bedroom. So what I ended up doing is I ended up moving out of my apartment, and I moved all my stuff into the end bedroom where Steve's stuff used to be. So I moved all my stuff from my apartment, my bed, everything, dresser, all that stuff, moved that into that end bedroom and used the closets there, yada, yada, yada. Obviously still use the master bathroom with Dustin, because like, why would I take up the other bathroom when, you know, Steve and Brian would need to use that? I just used the master one with Dustin. But anyway, so I moved all my stuff into that end bedroom, and that was all well and good, all cool. There were very little arguments with Steve after that, but there were some major ones. I want to save the biggest one, in my opinion, for a different video, because this one's already dragging on. But I'm trying to think. I know that there were a bunch of like little ones, and I'm trying to think of another one to throw into this video. Okay, so another argument that me and Steve frequently got into, though not directly, it was always I either had to go to Dustin to get him to respond to me, or he would go to Dustin and then it was like we always had to do it through Dustin, and I don't understand. I guess because it was Dustin's house, he felt like he needed to go through him to deal with this stuff. I don't know. But anyways, so everybody in the house had specific chores. There was a board on the wall that had everybody's chores, and everybody chooses their chore, okay? Everybody chooses their chore. I always did the laundry. Brian always did the yard work, I think. Or no, there were yard guys. They had somebody who did the yard. And so anyway, Brian did something, and then Steve's job, his only job, was to take the dishes that were in the sink, put them into the dishwasher, and then start it. That was it. Didn't even have to unload them. Didn't have to do anything. Just take them out of the sink, put them in the dishwasher, and run it. Period. That's it. That's all. So, obviously it became a problem when I moved in, and I'm a lady, I'm a woman, and I don't like messy things and huge messes, and these men do be messy though. So anyway, Steve was not doing his job. He was not taking things from the sink and putting them in the dishwasher. I was having to do that. And like, I don't care, but if you say that's going to be your job, then do it. You know what I mean? And like, he would get mad if somebody put their dish in the sink and he had to clean it or put it in the dishwasher or whatever. He would get mad about it. And I'm like, and he's like, I'm not washing that. I didn't get it dirty. Or I'm not putting that in the dishwasher. I didn't get it dirty. I'm like, I didn't ask you if you got it dirty. You chose this as your chore. I don't say, oh, I'm not washing that because I didn't wear it. You know what I mean? Like, no, that is not how this works. Okay? If that's going to be your chore, you're going to do it no matter whose dishes it is, because the chores apply to the whole house in general. So I basically told Dustin to tell him if he wasn't going to do it, just tell me so that I can do it, because I'm not going to sit here and watch dishes pile up and get moldy and nasty and disgusting. That's gross. I'm not doing it. So that was a big argument that me and Steve frequently had, because he'd be like, no, it's my chore, I'll do it. But then if somebody put something in the sink, he's like, that's not mine, I'm not dealing with it. Well, yes, you are. If that's your chore, I guess you are going to deal with it, huh? It would just make me furious to no end, because I would always be like, look, if you're not going to do it, just tell me so I can wash the dishes or put them in the dishwasher or whatever. Just tell me. And then he wouldn't say if the dishes were clean or dirty in the dishwasher. And I'd be like, are these clean or dirty? And he just wouldn't say nothing. And so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I just can't talk. I'm mute. You're deaf. You can't hear me. You can't hear me talking to you. So yeah, needless to say, me and Steve got into various arguments because he was just very uncommunicative. But anyway, that has been this video. I will save our biggest argument for another video because this one is already quite long. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me again today. Leave me a like if you liked the video. Comment down below. Tell me if you've ever had any crazy roommates or like bad roommates, or you know, just let me know. And don't forget to subscribe because I make new videos every Monday and Friday. Thank you guys once again so much for joining me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.